Hello, fellow mappers. My name is Tristan Slominski, and this is MapKeep Developer Update number 13. Today's update will include map tutorial for new mappers and the new map features of map notes, movement of components, and the selecting whether something is in present or in the future. So let's get started. This is an example of a map tutorial that new mappers will now be greeted with. When you're a new mapper, a private repository will automatically be created for you where you can keep your private maps to yourself. In that repository, a map tutorial map will be created that will look something like this. And it provides a brief overview of how to interact with MapKeep maps. MapKeep maps are designed as a graphical user interface, so a lot of the interaction is accomplished by clicking and left clicking and right clicking and clicking on things and dragging them around. This map tutorial provides a brief overview of how to get started doing just that. Next, we have the new map features that were recently added. Here we see a depiction of the gameplay of accelerators, decelerators, and constraints, highlighting the new features. We have map notes that can be added to a map by right-clicking on the map and clicking on New Note. These work much like comment notes. You can double-click to edit. You can drag the box around. You can resize the note as needed. And additionally, you can drag the pointer of what the note is pointing to. Right-clicking on the box will delete. You can delete the note. And that's how map notes work. Next, we have the addition of movement to maps. Movement depicts an intended or a present change in where component is on the map. To add a new movement, let's say to this print component, I will right-click and I will select New Movement. New movement can be to another component or to a space on the map. Right now, I am moving my mouse around, and when I click again, the movement is now depicted on the map. If I want to change my mind, I can grab the end of the arrow and move the movement to a new position. So this is making movement to a place on a map. Right-clicking, I will delete the movement. Another way to add movement to a map is from a component to another component, and that will link the components together via movement. This way, it makes it easier to move components around and so that they can stay linked. I'm going to undo the last changes using Control-Z. So as you can see, the platform here is linked to the future version of itself for easy movement and map editing. So that's movement. The last remaining piece is designating what component, link, movements, etc. are in which epoch, whether they are in the future or whether they are in the present. By convention, the red components and links are in the future and the black components are in the present. To designate a link, I will right-click on the link, and on the bottom here, we can say this belongs in the present, and that will change which epoch the component belongs to. And similarly, I can change it to be in the future. This works for links, movement, constraints, almost anything you can designate to be either in the present or in the future. When you create a new component, for example, let's say we created a new ecosystem. As with everything else, I can designate it to be in the future, and I can link it to other things. I'll delete this now. And that's the overview of existing updates. Here we have an example of a gameplay overview for accelerators, decelerators, and constraints. We are using accelerators, decelerators. We are using the notes feature to annotate the map and expand on what we mean by things. We can use the notes feature to annotate a specific constraint, and we can depict future components and depict evolution of where things are moving and how things are changing. That's it for now. Cheers.